So in preparing for this video, I feel like I've struggled a bit because I feel like I see a lot of people talking about cool things like where they're from, etc. And like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not fully in tune with those parts of myself. So just kind of digging into myself and trying to figure out what my culture is. I feel like I'm just going to talk about a few things that make me me and come from like my family and my upbringing and so on and so forth. So the first thing I want to talk about is a recipe that's been in my family for a very long time. My mom's side is Irish and my dad's side is black. I think I come from Jamaican descent. I'm not too sure. That's what I was told, but nothing has been confirmed, so I'm not too sure. But for my mom's side, they have this recipe that's been in the family since the Great Depression, and it's nothing that's really like true to the Irish side. It's just true to my family. And this thing is called a dark cake, and this cake is basically a spice cake, but it's chocolate. Might sound kind of weird, but it's really good. I love it. So in this cake, again, like it's chocolate, there's spices, there's raisins, and basically what happened was during the Great Depression, they couldn't afford much. So it's kind of like those Sundays are called like everything but the kitchen sink Sundays, kind of that kind of concept of like what they just kind of had, they mixed together to make this cake, and then you top it off with vanilla icing. And we've been eating it my whole life, and so I have a picture here of it, and the only picture I have is the cover picture of this little booklet I made for my husband on our 1 month anniversary. But here it is, you can see it. But that's just what we had for my wedding cake as well. It's just a small one because we had a COVID wedding, but there's a little bit of like the dirty ice on it and just some plants around it. But yeah, so we've had that for years and years in our family, and that's like a family thing. And I remember being a kid and like talking to my friends about having it, and they're like, what is that? And I had no idea. No one knows what this is. The second part of me that is very big to my identity is my faith. I am a non-denominational Christian, and I was raised in the church, but I made that decision for myself in my teens because I kind of walked off the path for a little bit for a while. So something I have that represents that is just this necklace that I've had since I was a baby, and I wear it a lot. It's just a gold cross necklace. I'm not wearing it right now because the video, but something I wear frequently, and I've had it, like I said, my whole life, and it just is something to carry with me that represents my faith. I've been also big into like getting a couple tattoos that represent that, so like I always look down and I see the verse or the picture or what I have on my arms to represent that. And another big part of me in my identity is being a woman of color, and that's something I hold very true to myself, and I always have. And in trying to find like what's something that I can show you all that represents that, kind of struggled because that's something I carry visibly. People don't look at me and see someone who's white ever, because you don't. They look at me and see someone the person of color. So that's me, and that's who I am, and that's something that I wake up with, I go to bed with. But I thought something that's a big part of that, I think, for a black woman is, for women of all races, but I know in the black community is your hair, and your hair is your crown, and it's like the most awful time for me to talk about my hair right now because it's so frizzy and needs to be redone, but that's something that's very big in who I am. And I think a lot of mixed people go through this like racial identity crisis of like what side do they feel like they fit into better, and they feel like they have to fit into a box, and I've been rejected by my white side my whole life. So I think a big part of me feeling more in touch with my black side was learning to do hair and learning to be able to express myself through my hair. And I'm constantly doing my hair, looking up hairstyles, trying new things out, doing friends and family's hair. That's a big part of who I am. So I guess my thing to show for that is my hair, which again is frizzy and needs to be redone, but that's something that I've always felt express myself in the fact that I'm a woman of color. So yeah, so those are my 3 things. I guess that's kind of it. I know it might not be as interesting as everyone else's, but that is who I am, and all 3 things are a big part of who makes me me.